Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Very Connected podcast. And you guys are in for a treat today. We have a whole panel of what we consider our wellness warriors, which are an amazing set of women from the bariatric community that have been willing to come in and share their journeys and their experiences as far as having weight loss surgery and also just their weight loss in general, because it's not just about surgery, guys. We're switching a little bit within the ProCare panel. I'm going to say a ProCare platform, and we're wanting to offer information on just metabolic wellness. So it's going to include, not just surgery. It's going to include those who are on a GLP-1 weight loss journey, those who are losing weight, maybe even on their own, maybe pre-op, and just all of that, going to combine it all. We're going to be talking about questions we had people submit on their way into this platform. Like when you got ready to register, you submitted questions. So we've taken all those questions, we've combined them, and we're going to be talking about a couple different categories. And what that's going to look like is talking about regain, plateaus, nutrition and supplements, post-op complications or concerns about things that could happen, best advice from these ladies on their own journey and what they've learned. And then also there was some miscellaneous kind of questions that came in that we're going to be trying to answer. And I want to say you guys are going to love this group. We have Meg. Meg, kind of wave, say hi. Meg is the curator and host of Berry Adventures, Transformative Travel and Lifestyle Experiences. She had gastric bypass in March of 2022. I'm going to let her do a more formal introduction in a moment. We have Stephanie. Stephanie, say hi.
Hi.
Stephanie's a registered nurse. She is a VSG to RNY revision, down 136 pounds. She's also overcoming and having a positive mindset through her complications. And we call her the bariatric warrior because she is a warrior out there, just always showing up for herself and others. And then we have Shea. Shea had a vertical sleeve gastrectomy in March of 2022, and her journey of self-discovery has brought her into learning more about herself and also just learning and striving to be the best version of herself she can. Psychology, she went into psychology and also got a master's degree in that. She is on YouTube and Instagram, along with the Waiting Table podcast, encouraging others on her journey. And then we have Maria. Maria, wave and say hi. We have Maria's weight loss journey, which started with a VSG in 2014. And then after having a hiatal hernia repair and some regain in October of 2022, she switched to a RNY procedure. And she's also added Monjaro to her goal of losing 131 pounds. She also celebrated, underwent plastic surgery, and has advocated for her daughter, also who's 16, to have weight loss surgery. So at this point, I'm going to allow, I don't know, whichever one of you ladies want to start. I want to go through individually and have each of you say hi. If you're joining us on this live version, I see many of you are mentioning or having are saying hello to us. I see somebody saying they can't hear anything. Anybody else having problems with that piece? Maybe Alexis, go off, come back on. Let us know where you guys are and on your own journey. If you're considering having weight loss surgery, if you're using a GLP-1, if you're pre-op, if you're post-op, if you're wherever you are, if you're just here to enjoy the conversation and be one with these lovely ladies. Also, where you're from, I always love to hear that. So let's get started. Which one of you ladies want to raise your hand and start talking first?
I'll take a stab at it. I'll kick us off. Hi, friends. My name is Shea. I'm so excited to be here with these amazing ladies. Each of these ladies on here have been an inspiration in my journey, and I think it's just so cool to be part of this community. I just celebrated my 3-year surge anniversary this month, which is really exciting. I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy in March of 2022. And my big why for having surgery was to eventually conceive. I'm a PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, a girly. I have always had trouble with my hormones, my cycle. And so once I learned more about how weight loss surgery could help with those things, I was sold. I wanted to get it done. Since that time, I've lost over 100 pounds, and it's just been such a cool, big journey. I swear I've cried more in the last 3 years than I have probably my entire life. I've learned so much about how it's much more of a mental and emotional journey. And I knew it would be, but it's one thing to know it, it's another thing to experience it. Where I am right now, I haven't conceived yet, but I'm still very hopeful. And I have a lot of cool things from ProCare, products from ProCare that are helping me prepare for that. But while I'm waiting, I am actually getting ready to do a transformation body competition, which is so weird to even say. I never thought in a million years I would do that. And so, um, backing up just a little bit, I experienced a bit of regain going into more of my second year post-op. And just kind of looked at the different resources that were out there. I found that the research with terzipatides or GLP-1 medications known as Zepbound, I think Manjaro is that right, Maria? I think that's is that a terzipatide too?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the same.
Yep.
One's just FDA approved for weight loss and the other one's for diabetes.
Yep. So I got some help with that, and it's helped a lot, even more so with my PCOS symptoms, and helped me with some of that regain. And I've learned a lot with that. And I feel like this last year has really just been focused on learning how to move my body. I've been working with a trainer and learning how to strength train, again, things that I just never thought I would even have the desire to do. And so I've definitely been in prep mode, kind of keeping my head down, getting stuff done in preparation for that. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I'm really excited to be here.
I've seen your transformation too with the tirzepatide and you're such an inspiration. So I can't wait to watch you go through this next journey or next phase that you're in, Shay.
Thanks,
Um,
Maria.
I can chime in if you want, Brenda, if you'd like. I don't know. So I had surgery originally in 2014, and I actually didn't really talk about it then, so I kind of feel bad. So when I came back out with the revision in October of 22, I felt it was my obligation to be a little more forthcoming with the information, especially with the regain. Sometime in COVID, I really can't explain it, but I think that maybe I have undiagnosed PCOS like Shay, because I worked out like crazy, but would just always kind of see my weight fluctuate. And I was successful on both of the surgeries, but that regain just kept creeping in. And so, only 6 months into my revision, I noticed that, I was starting to eat around my tool and get a lot of food noise. And I was getting really scared because I didn't want to regain. And I heard about Manjaro. So that's when I asked my doctor about it. And it really has changed a lot for me. I would always get stuck in like the 180s and 190s. And I'm 147 pounds. I've never been this light before. I can wear the same size clothes as my friends, which has never been the case. So it's sometimes I feel like I'm a fraud and I don't even know who I am. But I'm 1 year post-op for my plastics and my skin removal, but now I'm just starting to get comfortable. But you have this like, I don't know, I can't even think of it. I just felt like I just didn't know who I was. So I'm really starting to get used to that. And my daughter is now 17, but I think this is one thing that's important is I saw my daughter struggling in school, being super depressed. So I did advocate for her to have VSG in June and I paid out of pocket for it, but it's her junior year and she's really coming out of her shell and she's social, she's wanting to shop and she's going to go to prom this year. And so as a mom, like it was one of the best things that I could do was advocate for my own child. And she too is on tirzepatide. So I could probably go on and on about things, but yeah, I mean, we've had quite a bit of a journey and I'm just glad to be on this panel with all of you amazing ladies.
So to
And
spin off on what Maria was talking about and advocating for her daughter and herself, my name is obviously Stephanie, known as the Bariatric Warrior. I had gastric sleeve in October of 2021, and I had weight loss surgery for a different reason than most people. I actually had severe gastroparesis. So the fundus of my stomach basically wasn't functioning, and it would take me a very long time to actually digest food. So I wasn't getting the nourishment, et cetera, that I needed. Um, and very symptomatic. I had to be on steroids for like 2 years. So with steroids comes weight gain. So VSG was actually offered to me as an option to help cure my gastroparesis, get off the daily steroids. And it did, it worked. But I did have to face a lot of post-op complications starting very early, right off of having the VSG. And again, at that time, I never saw people talk about it. And so I felt like I needed to talk about it so that so many other people would be like, it's okay. It's okay to share the good, bad, and the ugly, and you're not alone. And so I am very much a big advocate for people who have post-op complications, in terms of like advocating towards their doctors. Like, you know your body, you know if something is not right. And I've seen, unfortunately, so many people just struggle and not go get the help. And it's important to raise your voice and talk to your care team. And if you feel like lost, know that there's so many people out there in this community. You can reach out to me, any of these lovely ladies on this panel, and you won't have to ever walk through it alone. So I'm still obviously going through and navigating my complications, but I do not regret having bariatric surgery. It has given me a lot of my life back. It has brought me to be a part of this entire amazing community and just allow those who are going through something or a struggle, as anyone goes through, whether you've had complications or not, know that you're not walking this journey alone. So, yeah.
And I am excited to springboard off that conversation of advocacy because I came to my tool about about 3 years ago. So just celebrated my 3-year surgiversary. So that's been really exciting. But my decision to come to my tool was out of advocating for my long-term health, what I wanted after undergoing 9 months of long haul COVID and getting to a weight that I'd never seen for myself. And so after watching a girlfriend of mine here in the Chicagoland area go ahead and go through the process of gastric bypass, and she actually had it with her sister on the same day, and watching her transformation and having known her for some time and knowing the vibrance of her personality and her travels and just her whole life experience, but also she had diabetes. So seeing that transformation, seeing her life transform for her, get her health back, that was a real like kickoff for me to begin to ask the question, one, does my insurance cover it? And that's when I started actually thinking about bariatric surgery as a tool for what I wanted for my long-term health in my life, to get back that sense of who I was pre-pandemic. And, I wanted to return to a marathon. I wanted to get back out and golf. I wanted my life. And so when I considered a bariatric surgery, ultimately going with the gastric bypass, it was really coming from a place of advocacy and really wanting to show up for who I am, wanting to be sure that I was in full, complete control. Because by the time I had, finally gotten over the COVID, I had developed a horrible level of sleep apnea that was just devastating, on top of which, with chronic asthma growing up, like it was a whole host of just the wrong wafer that I wanted to be with my life. I wanted to get my life back. So in really advocating for myself, and thankfully, because, at that point, advocacy within the bariatric space and the weight loss surgery community was becoming a thing on social media. And that's where our eyeballs were, in the height of my preoperative journey. So throughout 2021, and then finally saying yes to the journey, and ultimately being down now 161 pounds total from the start of my preoperative journey to where I am now. And for me, I say comfortably maintaining, because I've found a place and space that's been right for me, but also honoring the fact that this form you see before you is familiar to me. So advocacy is so critical, because if I wanted to regain that full sense of my health and wellness, it was going to take full on advocacy in all of its wholeness, through doctors for understanding where I am from my whole health, my mental health, my physical health, my environmental health. Bariatric surgery helps you gain control of your life. And so, the last 3 years have really been tremendous. And I'm really excited that I've met these amazing ladies and this wonderful community. And so I really look forward to chatting today and to answering these questions. And I thank everyone who's popped on today. So if you're preoperative, you're in the right place. If you're postoperative, guess what? You're in the right place too.
It's by no accident you're here, because hopefully this is going to bring you to feel more connection with this community, and also just to help maybe even inspire some things in your own journey that may help you along the way, because we're all here to support each other. I say we jump right in. I'm going to say hi. I know so many of you had said hi, and there's so many wonderful comments in the box. So we appreciate you guys chatting and letting us know where you are with things. I also want to say, if you have questions during this event, this is kind of like a Q&A, because these ladies are willing to be vulnerable enough to share their own stories, but also maybe help support you in whatever way experiences they've had by sharing those. So please feel free. I will say, if you are on the live event chat, we do have a Q&A box. Sometimes it's helpful to differentiate between comments and Q&A by just submitting in the Q&A box. It's okay. We'll still be watching the chat box as well. If you're on Facebook watching this, please feel free to just comment. Just let us know. If you're listening to a replay at some point along the way, know that you can always comment, and we can always, get back and interact that way too as well. These ladies are also going to be sharing their, I'm going to call it, social media platforms that they share their own content on. So I would highly advise too, after this event, connect with them, each of them, and follow them and learn more about their own stories and ongoing. And you can also, I'm sure, DM them, let them know, that you're supporting their journey, and I'm sure that they can help support yours. So at this point, what we're going to do is, we had a lot of questions. I think I had maybe almost 40 questions or more, maybe 50 questions submitted before the event. And we're going to try to stream through as many of those as we can. And what I'm going to do is, I kind of categorize them, as mentioned earlier, into regain, plateaus, nutrition and supplements, complications, best advice, and then some miscellaneous. So we're going to be taking questions within this platform, as I mentioned, either in the Q&A box or in the chat. And I'll be watching that. It looks like we already had a question come in too. So we'll definitely be watching that. And then I think we should get started. That way we have as much time as we possibly can. So what I'm going to do is pose the questions, and I'm going to let these ladies answer. So under the category of regain and plateaus, we had somebody say they had surgery several years ago and all was good, but this last year has been gaining and can't seem to lose, needing some help. We also had some of these questions are fairly the same, so I'm going to kind of group some of these together. We had somebody say, how do you stop regain? We had someone regain after 4 years, somebody else resetting and starting over. And somebody, how to lose more weight once you've hit a weight and don't move further. Who would like to start us out on this conversation? I think this is such a good one.
I would love to. I'm very passionate. I know, Maria, feel free to jump in too, because this is something we're both really passionate about. Regain is so tough. And when I first started experiencing that, like I said, I was about 2 years post-op, And it's very frustrating, or it was very frustrating for me, because here you did all of this work and effort, usually paid a lot of money or some money to get your surgery done. And it can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. This is happening again. And so I think the first thing to just call out and say, like, that's a lie. That's not true. You're not a failure for having regain. You're a loved and worthy human, no matter what size you are. And I think it's important just to say, okay, that's what it feels like. And that's not true, though. The second thing to remember is that obesity is a disease. And with diseases, those are lifelong, or they can be lifelong things that we all struggle with, and obesity is not different with that. And I think for me, learning that information was really helpful to go, okay, like, what are some other diseases? Heart disease. You wouldn't just expect for someone to do one type of treatment and then if they were still having symptoms to just ignore it, right? There's lots of different options that you can have for people. And so I think seeing obesity as a disease and going, what are all of my tools? Here they are, is really helpful. I was very resistant to weight loss surgery in the beginning. I was very resistant to weight loss medication. And then though I've kind of had to put my pride aside in both of those scenarios and go, you know what? Like, if this is something that can help me where I'll feel better and be who I want to be, like, why would I be so resistant to that? And so for me, I think getting diagnosed with attention deficit disorder has been really helpful. There's a huge overlap in the community. People who have obesity and attention deficit disorder or ADHD. I take medication for that, and that has helped me a lot. Again, all of this you want to take and, talk with your doctor about it, do your own research, but I think looking into that can be really helpful. And then for me, looking into taking a tirzepatide has been so helpful. I didn't really understand what people were saying when they talked about food noise until I got on the tirzepatide, and it was a game changer for me. I think the advice that I have to give for that, again, not medical advice, just something to kind of look into for yourself. It can feel very addicting in the sense that, like, you'll lose weight. You can lose weight really quickly when you're taking that medication. I've tried to take a slower approach where I haven't, and I've been working with a professional on this. I haven't gone up really quickly. I've been trying to do it slow and steady. And you want to make sure that you're eating enough food, which can be really hard when you're taking the medication. And so truly, there's not really an easy way to do anything in this journey. I've found that it can be a bit challenging trying to make sure I'm getting enough nutrition while I'm taking the medication and finding that balance. And so sometimes it can be tempting to go, oh man, this is so nice because I'm not hungry at all. I don't have any food noise on this medication. I don't want to eat anything. That's not going to be great in the long run when it comes to your bone health, your muscle and joint health. So all of those things to consider if you're thinking about doing a medication. I'm a huge advocate and support for it, but just being mindful of that and making sure you're talking with the right professionals to get the information and not just going, okay, I'm just going to start getting a bunch of medication and just lose weight really fast. That's not always helpful in the long run. So just something to consider with that.
Yeah, and just to kind of chime in on what she kind of touched on, pretty much everything that I was going to say too. But if you do take a tirzepatide or GLP, it does still take like working on your relationship with food and doing the things that you would do after having weight loss surgery. But don't feel like you're alone. Like she said, you're not a failure. Have those conversations with your doctors. In my situation, I literally had a friend that told me, man, I don't know anyone that works out more than you, but my brain heard, oh, but that's still obese. And so, and that's kind of what made me knock on that door. But weight loss is not linear. So just don't give up on yourself. And like Stephanie said earlier, advocate for yourself. And if you have to find another doctor, do it, because sometimes you can't take no for an answer because you know your body.
Yeah, I always say, like, if you go to one doctor and they're not listening to you, you don't feel heard, don't be afraid to go to another one. Because just as like you would in therapy, the first one you go to is not always the perfect fit for you. So don't just give up. Keep advocating for yourself, and go get a second opinion. Yeah.
And being in the medical field, Stephanie, you probably see that. I mean, it's probably this whole journey has made you much more compassionate too, with the people that you're working with too. I can see.
Oh yeah,
Meg?
definitely, definitely. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I always say that if I wasn't in the medical field and went through everything that I went through, I probably would have struggled even more. And so putting myself in the position of someone who has no medical background at all, like I don't want them to feel alone and I want them to be heard. So like I often will go and get on like the phone call with them when they're with the doctor because they tell me that they don't know what to say or they don't know what to ask for. They're afraid to. And so it's really important that you have a person in your life who you trust and can be there and advocate for you. So you're not just sitting there, not getting the help that you need because you deserve that help. You deserve to get answers and solutions and feel better. Mhm.
Okay, well, we're gonna go on here, guys. So we talked a little bit about the GLP-1s, and definitely that has an effect on sugar cravings and food noise and things like that. This person is asking, how do you handle that? Does anybody have anything that they'd like to say besides just the GLP-1s? I know that those can be, I mean, for me too, I'm on a GLP-1 as well. So I get it. I mean, it definitely is a helper, but there's people who don't have access. Either their insurance doesn't cover, they can't afford it, or maybe their providers are, I see a comment, providers are not always big advocates because they just don't know enough about it. So depending on your community, what would you guys suggest on that if people are struggling?
I would say go back to basics, but please don't do the liquid diet. Like I see people do that all the time. In my personal opinion, I don't think that's healthy. But try to go back to basics, focus on the protein, get some more movement if you don't want to, if you can't have GLP as an option. And that's obviously not a solution for everyone. But try to take it back to basics or find some other alternatives.
I,
I don't know. That's a hard one, Brenda, honestly,
I,
because I felt like I struggled so much.
I'd like to speak to it because I would say if I had, I'm a very systems driven individual. So if I have a strong system for my routine, then I can just plug and play. That's just how my brain works. But sugar cravings, I have to say, is the one thing that I probably see fluctuate the most within my journey. And so, and here it is, straight up. If I don't stay tight through the day, the sugar craving comes at the end every single time without fail. So, for example, I could have a great breakfast. Sorry, I hit the thing. I don't know if you can still hear me. Something about microphone check and speaker. Sorry, I got a notification. So if I deviate from my daily routine, which is, I wake up, I am a protein shake first thing in the morning, no matter what, protein shake before coffee. And that for me sets my metabolism. It lets my body know, boom, this is where we're at. So if you start with sugar, your body's going to always want sugar. But for me, that's my level set. That really helps me just be like, boom, I'm getting in 25 grams of quality grade protein and level setting my system. So I go through, I have my coffee, I have a great breakfast, doing all my things. And then same thing, come back around to lunch. Lunch, I'm not really ever hungry. I don't have hunger cessation. I've been really fortunate and blessed. And I'm listening to each of one of you ladies and listening to, GLP-1 journeys and the whole process. I don't have hunger cessation. I don't have food noise. And I know that is not the norm for so many. But what I do know is that if I deviate from this strategy of when I take my meals in and how much protein I'm getting and just keeping that guide going, if I deviate, I'm telling you straight up, 8 p.m. is going to roll around and my body's like, can I get some sugar? What you got in there? I'm going to go look for something. And then I have to dial in and be like, did I eat enough? Because I can tolerate a cookie. I can tolerate a donut. I can pretty much eat whatever I want. capacity wise, I don't have great capacity, but I can tolerate most foods. And so, but that sugar craving is that one thing that still gets in there. So that's a metric. So managing the sugar craving comes from managing my diet. If I'm eating, or not my diet, my nutrition throughout the day. If I stick to my system that I have in place, if I rely on those habit stacks, and I'm getting that nutrition in consistently throughout the day, then I don't have that sugar craving doesn't come through. It's when I ignore, or I'm not hungry, and so I'm in my workflow, and I just, time starts creeping by. Without fail, you can message me at 8 o'clock and be like, Meg, how's your day? And if I'm slipping, it's going to come back and impact me in the evening. And so that also too goes back around to maintaining that metabolic maintenance in your body to help navigate how I've navigated not having the regain. Do I fluctuate a couple pounds here and there? Hormones. Hi, my name is Meg. I'm perimenopausal. I own it. I accept it. Yeah, but I go right back down, because your body's going to go up and down a pound or two. That's just normal. But that's how I've been able to navigate the sugar cravings, helps me navigate my overall systems for my nutrition, which then ultimately helps me navigate my consistent weight.
One thing I just want
Yeah.
to add to with the sugar cravings too is it's helpful to determine for yourself, and like you're the only one who knows this, on where that's coming from. And so is it coming more from like a mental and emotional place of like, you know what, every night I have a routine of sitting on my couch and like snacking while I'm watching TV? And is it more part of that like ritual and comfort that you're craving that sugar? Or is it, I mean, and there can be lots of different reasons, but it also could be that maybe you're not eating enough, because what's the quickest way to get energy is sugar. And so sometimes our bodies do crave that when we haven't been eating enough. And I think that's one of the biggest maybe pitfalls that I see in the bariatric space, especially a year plus post-op, is that people just like aren't eating enough food. And I think it's because of like lack of education. A lot of our bariatric programs are great with us pre-op and then like for the 6 months after. But as humans, like we're not designed to eat small calories forever. And so that's again something, you know, I'm not a professional in that area, but I know tons of amazing dietitians in this space who can help with that. And so maybe just something else to consider, like, is that actually my body trying to tell me that I need more food? Or is it more of a ritualistic kind of mental, emotional thing that maybe I can try to transfer a little bit into something that'll serve me better? So just something else to consider.
I love that, what you guys just said. And just to kind of add on to that, I've noticed in the evening time is always everybody has their own little snacking times. But for me, like sugar in the evenings, it's like, where's the candy, you know? And so one thing that I've had to ask myself is, am I eating, like you said, Shay, am I eating enough? Because in the evening time, if I eat a large enough supper, it really cuts those cravings down. I just don't, it's not like it's not like I really have the same sensation. So definitely, do a check in there. I'm going to take a couple questions from where you guys are submitting here. And I have Letitia says, I'm in the pre-op process. Surgery will likely be in May. I'm struggling with the anxiety of hair loss and loose skin. I know that's so superficial, but anxiety is creeping up. Any tips, any advice? And that is actually not only for pre-op, that's a great post-op question too. Anybody have anything they'd like to say? Because I think probably, I know I've struggled with it. Who all in this call, ladies, would you raise your hand? Which of you ladies has struggled with that before?
I was going to say I've taken the ProCare multivitamins the entire time. And if you look at my post-op, I had such thick hair. Actually, my hair is thinned out because of blonde highlights, but I swear that's what got me on the Wellness Warrior and all this stuff. Is like I've been taking ProCare since my first surgery, and I don't know what's in that supplement, but it really has done a lot of good for me. So if you are nervous about that, you're going to lose a little bit of hair for sure, because you're eating less and you're losing rapid weight. But take those multivitamins and focus on the protein, and your hair will go back. I promise.
Yeah, I want to just echo what Maria's saying. Those are all fears. and they're realistic and they're all valid. And they're part of the evaluation that you're going to make as you accept your tool into your lifestyle. And I would say that vitamins, okay, yes, we're here with ProCare, but vitamins are a critical, necessary part of your day-to-day bariatric lifestyle, period. It's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable for me. Every night, 9:30. Text me, Meg, what are you doing? 9:30, I'm taking my vitamins. And it's so important. And thanks to ProCare, I've been taking ProCare since I was able to take I have a video of it. Me taking my very first, I was like so freaked out it was going to get stuck. Okay. I'd heard all the horror stories. There's plenty of horror stories out here. Let this serve as the good stuff, people. That having that 1-a-day vitamin, there's literally maybe a handful of times I've missed my vitamins, and that's been because of a surgery, recovering from plastic surgery. But knowing that I'm taking my vitamins, I see it in my labs. I take my labs, I can see that consistency, because bariatric surgery it creates malnutrition. When you have your vitamins, you're supporting it, followed up by proper nutrition every day. We do our best. And like Brenda was saying, and also to Shea's point, staying focused on making sure we're eating the right foods and understanding our systems. Are we comfort eating, or are we really full? And a trail mix. The trail mix will get me every time. Trail mix, ladies, you know what I'm talking about? Because nuts are a food group for me. But your hair, like, it's there. Mine's a little thinner, but it's here. But that's how I can tell I'm healthy, is my hair and my nails. And every day I feel good in my lab. So take your vitamins, people. Take them, and make sure they're ProCare.
Yeah, so to piggyback on that, you will know by how you feel if you are not taking your vitamins. As someone who has struggled since the beginning with nutrition because of obviously mechanical and disease process complications from weight loss surgery, and I've had to be on TPN multiple times. I am so thankful to ProCare for making the Citrus Grove easy to swallow tablets, because I am someone who has dysphagia, who has difficulty swallowing. So when those came out, I was like, my prayers have been answered, because again, I've also taken ProCare since the beginning, and I started with the capsule. And like Meg said, she was afraid for it to get stuck. Well, it did get stuck for me, but I didn't give up. And so I'm really excited that ProCare came out with that, because the special coating, it allows it to go at ease down. And I'm just thankful that that's an option now for people who may be struggling with difficulty swallowing, etc.
And one thing I just want to call out about the anxiety, I think those are the two biggest things I hear from pre-op peeps all the time, is like the loose skin and the hair loss. And I just want to paint kind of a different picture of, like, imagine though not having anxiety about getting on a plane and having the seatbelt fit. Imagine not having anxiety about walking your kids at school. Imagine not having anxiety about sitting in booths or seats that before you maybe had to research and plan and see what would fit or what wouldn't. I know it's hard to imagine those things when you're in that pre-op space, because it's like, oh my gosh, that's just such a foreign idea. And whatever yours is, right? Your why for doing this. But if you think about that, like coming on the other side of it, the anxiety, the loose skin, the hair loss, like that compares nothing to all that I've gained in this experience and process. And so, again, just coming from somebody who's on the other side of it 3 years out, like that stuff you can deal with, you can figure it out, you can work towards it, you can take your vitamins, but it's like the stuff that you can't do right now and the anxiety that you feel over that, like, oh, just wait, it's going to get so much better.
And just do today,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can only do today. Tomorrow's not even here yet. We're just doing today. And if we put our best foot forward, if we stay focused on what we're doing today, stay present in each one of those moments, we're going to get there. Because it's the micro, right, ladies? It's the micro moments. It's those little bits that you pop in there and you do what you got to do. And all of you that are in your preoperative journey, I want to encourage you to just be in it, maximize it, do all the things, practice eating slower, taking smaller portions. And I mean, take the portions you need because you're not there yet, but smaller bites, chewing, slowing down, be intentional about your eating, be intentional about the protein you're taking in, how it makes you feel, understanding what your systems are. Start making those behavior modifications today, because setting yourself up for success today, right now, you're going to get on the other side and you're going to be like, let's go. And you're going to be ready, and you're not going to be shocked. Your body's not going to be shocked because you're going to be prepared. You're going to know what you're going to be focused on, just recovering and taking that next step forward, because you've already started making the behavior modifications you needed to be successful post-op. So you got this.
You know, that segues right into this next comment, which Paul says, ladies, you are so inspirational. How do you stay so positive? I had 5 major procedures in the last year, fighting weight gain and chronic pain. Some days are tough. Thank you. So focusing, I mean, you kind of answered, but I'll also allow you guys to say a little more about that. I think, how do you get your mindset in the right place?
I got to jump in again. I run my mouth here, but you know, you're not always going to be motivated. You're not. But it's about, are you determined? Are you committed? Are you attached to your why? Are you so focused and so dedicated and attached to the identity of the individual that you want to become, that you're going to do everything you can do each day? That's it. So having strong systems in place. I'll go back to it. I'll repeat it over and over and over again. My bariatric mandates, my sleep, my hydration, my vitamins, my movement, my nutrition, all those things, those are critical. They're non-negotiables, but also sticking true to my core principles of mindfulness, movement, meaningful conversation, and self-mastery every single day. When I'm doing that, everything flows. And to your point, I know that feeling of chronic pain, getting out of bed, and the first thing I have to think of is get your head right, because you're going to put your feet on the ground and go straight to Superwoman pose, because the pain and where my head is are 2 different places. But it's knowing where I want to go, where I want to be, and that I'm so dedicated to it that on the days that I don't have motivation, I can show up because I have systems that have been reinforced every single day. Just today. So if I do what I got to do today, then it's going to be easier tomorrow. And if it wasn't perfect today, that's okay. That's okay. Tomorrow I'm going to refine it. And then I'm going to check back in 6 months and see if the system's working and the system is aligned with my goal. If it's not, I'm going to adjust. I'm going to pivot and keep moving, because we do it one day at a time. That's how I navigate keeping my head in the game. And
I agree, Meg. I think you hit the nail on the head. Mindset is everything. And for a long time, I had the I'll just expect the worst attitude. And then I started reading positivity books. And I know it sounds cliche right now, but once you focus on that mindset and, fake it till you make it, everything around you starts to change, and just you manifest so much positivity. I don't know if you guys are religious or not, but I read a book called The Power of Positivity by Joyce Myers. I do recommend reading that book. It does change the way you think about things, because we all do struggle and it is hard. So definitely work on that mindset, like Meg said. So thanks for bringing that up.
One thing.
Sorry, as someone who has also gone through many surgeries in the last 3 years, and it's like, oh, this one's going to be the next one. This is going to do it. We're going to be good. Yes, you have to have your mind in that right place. And I've talked to Meg about this too, even in a hospital bed. Like, she's like, how can I support you? Like, you need to take one step at a time. It's like, this is what's happening presently. Take that and don't think about what's happening 20 minutes from now, because you'll get overwhelmed. And as someone like Shea, you have ADD, I have ADHD. And when you have ADHD and you're not medicated, you can go through something called ADHD paralysis, which basically affects all of your executive thinking, which is here in your frontal lobe, and you can't process things. So that is something that I have learned being recently diagnosed with ADHD through my bariatric journey, and how I allow myself to actually sit there and process what I'm going through before going and posting about it and making something positive right away, because I need to feel those feelings. And yes, it's important to, sit there in them, but don't stay there. Get out of those feelings afterwards. Because sitting in something so dark is not going to be beneficial to your health or well-being or your mental health. And so that's why I love Meg for helping me realize that as well. So just don't give up, just keep going. And again, you're never walking through any of this alone.
I love that Stephanie brought that up too, because I didn't realize this, but I am a very emotional person. I realized it more so after surgery. And I used to do exactly what you were saying, Stephanie. Like I would try to just kind of skip past it. Like I don't want to feel those emotions, icky, gross, like I'm not going to go there. And that's been really helpful for me. That's why I said I've cried more in the last 3 years than I have my whole life, because being able to like sit in those emotions that can feel really uncomfortable, sadness, grief, anger, is so helpful in healing and processing. And I think a lot of times in the past, many of us have used food or, just different things to cope so we didn't have to feel those feelings, but feeling them it's such a beautiful process that can feel really uncomfortable. And so even just yesterday, I went to the gym with my husband and I was just not feeling it. I was in a crabby mood. I was acting like a snippy toddler. Like I was just not, and you know what? I allowed myself to feel it. I still went and did it. And I felt better afterwards. So it's okay to do things that, maybe you're not feeling it. You can still have your feelings and have those be valid, but still go, but you know what? This is good for me and I want to do this and I know it'll be better, but I'm not happy about it. That's what I say louder. This is uncomfortable and I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay, well, we are gonna, I know we're getting close here on time. We got so many more questions. I'm gonna like skip around a little bit and kind of condense some of these questions that were submitted into making it a little easier to answer instead of answering, 20, instead of answering one at a time, maybe putting maybe 15, 20 questions together and putting, allowing you guys to answer. There is a lot of questions that came in on nutrition and supplements and things like that. Um, on a daily basis, each of you, what would you say? Give me one pointer. Try to condense it down to like one pointer, what you would say to make your, or just a short summary of what your day looks like.
I will say eat enough food. That's my one pointer. And most likely you're probably not. A lot of people, unless like you've worked with a dietitian and you really have your nutrition dialed in, you're probably not eating enough. So eat enough food.
Yeah, and like Meg was saying, I'm such a creature of habit in my routine. So if there's things that you like don't be afraid to just like I usually will have a protein shake in the morning and protein yogurt and try to get myself ahead and the water and the supplements. But if you really do form a routine, it just becomes a part of your day to day. But that doesn't mean you can't eat because I go out to eat all the time and I'm a foodie, but it's just being conscious now and doing those things in moderation.
I would also say, as it relates to my nutrition, grace and space. We've heard it over and over and over and over, and I will continue to hear it. Grace and space, because you're not going to feel the same thing every day. What worked the day before for food, it may not work the next day. And that means I think of that in terms of some days I feel more food forward than I do others. And I like that language, food forward, because some days I'm just like, okay, like it's not about being hungry, but it's like I'm able to get my head around food, get into food, my systems dialed in with my workflow. And then other days it's like, I just don't have any interest. And that's an interesting place. So grace and space.
Always say space is grace as well, or grace and space. And since my journey usually looks very different and like I have chronic illness, I say, if I got out of bed today and I did my best, and that best was only 10%, that was me doing my 100. because I chose to get out of bed. I intentionally moved my body. I took my vitamins and I did my best on my protein and my hydration. And again, no day is going to be similar. And that trying and doing that for you is doing the work of weight loss surgery.
Thank you. I know there was a lot of questions that came in on macros, on all of that, and I feel like it's very individual. So I'm not going to get into that one on this. We do have some other podcasts that maybe might be beneficial to help you with that. You can check out our YouTube channel on that, ProCare Health YouTube channel. We do have somebody that kind of pertaining to this last question, basically has said they gained back about 20 pounds and seems to have went to their bottom half, like their hips or stomachs or thighs, and they're hungry. They're scared that they're going to go back. I think Meg kind of summed it up, and actually all of you kind of summed it up, because I think each of you had a little part in that earlier when we were talking about weight regain and just basically setting up systems. Is there anybody who wants to say anything more about that?
I wanted to say not just about systems, but also listen to your body. I think we forget that. And I'll get you, think of it in terms of this morning. I decided to have scrambled eggs. Why did I decide to have scrambled eggs? Because I've been eating protein yogurt the last couple of days and noticing that my tummy just felt a little more calm. So now I'm asking myself, are eggs, is that a vibe? Am I full? Is this just a weird thing? But it's really about listening to my body. I'm not going to go throw it all out the window at this point, but listen to your body. So if the scale's not moving, it doesn't mean body composition isn't changing. You know, progress looks different in so many different ways, and it's up to you to listen to your body and your journey in order to determine what your progress, what your goals, and what your success looks like. Because it's not my planning isn't going to work for you. So listen to your spirit, listen to your body, and listen to what it's saying, and be honest with yourself, and you'll be surprised at what you discover.
Another thing I say often to myself is that like our bodies aren't statues and they're not designed to be statues. And especially if you're a woman, like we have so many cool capabilities and capacities, even just within the month and our cycle and everything that, you know, if you're still having cycles, like, so just keep that in mind too. Like our bodies we're not designed to be statues. They're meant to change and grow and be different. And like, that's a really cool part, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. One more thing that you said.
Yeah.
Shay, thing light bulb. Women need to remember, and men too, our bodies are constantly evolving. And once we have bariatric surgery, our hormones just go sideways, like immediately, just as a whole, sideways. But as we mature, as our bodies change, women begin to, hi, my name is Meg. I'll say it again. Hi, my name is Meg. I'm perimenopausal. And so those are going to create changes. And so giving yourself that grace and space to understand where your hormones lie. And same thing with you, gentlemen. You go through your own form of menopause. And I don't want to mispronounce it, begins with an A, but it's the same thing. And so your body's changing. So again, listening to that, that's critical.
I just commented
You're gonna-
and said I'm premenopausal too, Meg. So I'm navigating that right now.
And we have another chat about that, Brenda. That's a
We
whole.
should. That's a whole hour or more in itself. Okay, I'm going to take two more questions. One of them, I'd like to focus on the plastics, and then the second one, and let's just take a couple minutes each since we're kind of getting close. We had quite a few questions come in on plastics. In fact, right now, one of the comments in the box over here is, what is a good time frame when you should think about tummy tucks, skin tucks, all of those good things, and any advice regarding plastics?
I just want to chime in really quick. I say have the conversation with your doctors, but I learned that when you have the skin removal surgery, you have a higher percentage of keeping the weight off. And knowing that once I hit my goal weight, I said, I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to get it done. Because I felt like I waited so long last time and maybe if I would have done that, it would have helped a little bit. So, but definitely talk to your doctor. But yeah, I learned that fun statistic and I said, you know what? Let's just knock it out and get it done. And I have no regrets about it.
And as it relates to plastic surgery, I've had a tummy tuck and I've had reconstruction, and it's a reconstruction. What they really don't talk about, or it's not really communicated, and it goes back to the question of when's the right time. For me, my girls, they had a flour tortilla had more fluff. Okay. There was just nothing there, like no tissue. So that's where it became a reconstruction for me. And then I had complications, and I still continue to have complications. It's not a linear journey, just like weight loss surgery is not a linear journey. What I do know is that it's important to have your head right, because the results you're looking for, they don't come overnight. Sometimes the results could come a year, maybe a year and a half. And in my case, as it relates to my girls, I'm trying to determine, and I'll be having a conversation about plastic surgery. Is this the best that it's going to be for me? And understanding that, and that's a different place. So having your head game straight is just as important as making sure your bag is right and your body's right. You got to be right. So that's what I wanted to speak to as far as plastics is concerned.
So I had a 360 lower body lift, and I didn't know if plastics ever was going to be an option for me given all of my complications. But I worked very closely with my care team, from my plastic surgeon to my GI doctor, everything. And I had to get myself to a point where I was able to nourish appropriately, because protein and hydration are very important when you are healing from any surgery, especially skin removal, because it plays a part in, how your wounds are going to heal. If you end up back in the hospital because you aren't able to get enough down and you're not hydrated and you're dehydrated. And when you become dehydrated after a major surgery like skin removal, it hits you so hard, and it makes it even harder to get back up and recover from it. So it's definitely important to be in that space where you are prepared for anything. And a lot of people, until you go through skin removal surgery, you think, oh, this is just a physical journey. Oh no, it's just like weight loss surgery. You grieve. It is emotional and mental, and you will cry and be frustrated just as you were right after bariatric surgery. And you will say, why did I do this? But with time, you're going to see those results, and you're going to just see all that hard work you did that was hiding under that skin. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful process, and it's beautiful transformation journey. So yeah, I'm so happy I did it, and I'm so happy that I was able to do it.
So, okay, and somebody's asking too about avoiding skin removal with exercise. And I would just say it's very individual. I think each person is maybe a little different. Maybe some people might be able to do that. There might be some people's bodies who might need the extra. Um, okay, one last thing, and I just want you each to say maybe what is the best advice you might be able to give to somebody having weight loss surgery or just on their weight loss journey in general?
My biggest piece of advice is to ask questions and get involved with the community of people. Reach out to any one of us if you want questions or suggestions on people that we've worked with in the past, for as far as like professionals, nutritionists, people like that. Like, don't be afraid to reach out. That's something I wish I would have done more of pre-op. But obviously post-op is great too. So just plug into your community. Don't be afraid to ask for help and ask questions.
Uh,
I
oh,
I agree, Shay.
go ahead, Mary. I was just gonna, it always comes back to me for just keeping your head right. Really be dialed in with your wants, your needs, and your expectations for your life experience, for your wellness experience, for your weight loss experience. They're all intertwined. And just stay dialed in on that. Stay crystal clear and check in with yourself. There's no alignment, that's okay. Just ask yourself what it's going to take. Be honest with yourself about what it's going to take, and just know the point that, Shea's made. Community is important. You have your 5 bariatric mandates, but there's still one more, and that's community. So.
And don't compare your journey to anyone else's, because that is such a thief of joy, and we are all different. So use your community to ask questions. But again, it's not like we're all genetically made different. So please don't compare yourself, but I know we all do it. How many of us probably did that after surgery? I know I did. I'd be like, why is this person losing so much weight? But don't let that steal your joy.
I would say do lots of research. Go to your appointment where you meet your surgeon with a giant list of questions, because it is so important that you get all of those questions answered and you feel comfortable and ready to have this surgery and go on that journey. But again, a lot of places will be like, here's this giant binder, go do whatever. So again, to basically piggyback on all of these ladies, is get in tune with the community, the resources that are out there, from obviously registered dietitians. There's lots of podcasts, ProCare Health, vitamins, so you are prepared. And again, you can reach out to any one of us, and we will be happy to lend a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, a laugh. This community is everything, and it is basically how I've gotten through a lot of things. And I don't know where I would be without this community and all of you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. I'm going to be sharing how to get in touch with them. So we've had people already asking if they can contact you and that type of thing. Ladies, if it wouldn't be too much trouble, could I have each of you in the comment section put your social handles, and I will copy those into the description. So if you're listening to a replay, and I will also copy them into Facebook so that people will have them. While they're doing that, I'm going to actually switch over to another screen. I'm going to show you what each of their Instagram pages look like. I have those pulled up, and I'm going to start here. Let's see. Okay, do that here. Share my screen. So here I have Shay's. Shay's Instagram page is Grow with Shay, and she has all kinds of great things to share with you guys here. She also has a link tree. Each of these ladies probably have that, obviously, and you can connect with her on there. Each of these ladies, also with being a wellness warrior, offer discounts on different products, including ProCare. So please feel free to reach out to them on Instagram, check out their link trees, and get in on special savings with products and that type of thing. So we have Grow with Shay. Grow with Shay. Shay is also a member of Waiting Table, so I'm sure that's probably on your link tree too.
Yep, it's
Right,
all
Shay?
there. We're going to be live tonight too. If anybody wants to hop on 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, The Waiting Table, and Instagram.
Yes, 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 yes. Please feel free to join there. And then we have here, how do you pronounce, Maria, your tag? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Miss Lady Mia.
Okay, Miss Lady Mia.
Although everyone
So-
knows me as Maria, but when I first, I don't know.
So we have her page here. Please feel free to follow. And ladies too, if you're on other, Shay and Maria, are you guys on TikTok also as well?
Yes, I'm not on there as often, but I do have a TikTok, so you can follow on there too.
I think I'm more on TikTok than I am Instagram, but I'm trying to be better on Instagram. But my TikTok's Miss Lady Mia RNY.
Okay, perfect. And then we're going to switch over here to Stephanie. Stephanie is Bariatric Warrior. Stephanie, anything you want to say here on your page?
I also have a podcast, a Bariatric Warrior podcast, which me and my lovely friend Bex, we started as a different podcast, and we're kind of going to start our podcast back up. So that's called the Bariatric Warrior podcast. If you guys want to take a look over there, and again, we share the good, bad, and the ugly, and here to support and uplift everyone.
Perfect. Is that on your link tree as well?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, and then Meg actually has two different shares here. She has VIP Travel Girl, and she has another page, which is Berry Adventures.
Yes, and also everyone is welcome. If you can click back over to my main page there, Brenda, everyone's welcome to pop over there. There's a link in my bio, or you can go to the VIPtravelgirl.com/confidence, and you can grab the Confident Traveler Guide, which is 5 shifts to change your travel for good. So check it out. It's a free digital download. And also too, I have some one-to-one travel and low programming that's coming up. So be sure to join the wait list for that, so you can have first access to all things amazing, because we have our tools, we do all the things, but then we have to get out there and start living our best bariatric life. So there you are. You can just go in there and you can share your name and your email address, and a digital download will come to you. It's super fun. It's super easy, but I think it's very poignant for the bariatric traveler for sure, and anyone on a transformative travel experience journey.
And I'm including that, I'll be including that link here soon here I included in the chat box, but I'll include it in the details of all of this. I'm also going to jump on real quickly here to the ProCare Health page. And I just want to ask these ladies, each of them have been faithful ProCare users. Our sponsor is ProCare Health, who helps us make these BariConnected events here with all of you. Ladies, real quickly, anything you want to say about your favorite product?
I'll jump in. I love the bariatric prenatal multivitamin, because that is one of my goals to conceive. I've been on that my whole post weight loss journey, just to prepare my body for pregnancy, for breastfeeding, and then for post baby after. So even though that's not in the cards quite yet, I'm hopeful that it will be, and I'm going to be taking this for hopefully a long, long time.
Obsessed with the Citrus Grove 1-a-day multivitamin. I mean, it's a thing, people. The non-Citrus Grove is great, but I'd still encourage you to put a ProCare Citrus Grove sensor into yours. They are, yeah, I think Stephanie mentioned they are coated and they're super easy to take, and they're 1-a-day. They're 1-a-day. It's like having just this little bottle of citrus goodness right there. And so it's uplifting. So sometimes you just need a little pick me up. Just take the lid off, put it back on, and go on about your day. It's fantastic. Highly recommend.
So calcium dark chocolate, even though you can't get it right now because of the warm months, but calcium dark chocolate has always been one of my favorite things since the beginning. It's very versatile. A lot of people don't know that, like, oh, hey, you could actually melt it and like put it on a rice cake, stick it in the freezer. You could use it to make a s'more. So you're getting your vitamin D and your calcium while also enjoying a little treat. But while those are not in season right now, go try the peach calcium chews, because they're neck and neck with that chocolate to me.
They're pretty good. I actually I don't even know if we still have them, the OG pill, Brenda, but the 45 milligram, that's what I took all the way up until I became a wellness warrior. Now I do the chewables, like the fruit punch, but yeah, I just took the regular pill all those years.
Bariatric multi, is that what you're
Mhm.
saying? Just that, and actually that is probably honestly like one of our biggest sellers. So we do the capsules. Is that
Yep.
the one you're talking about?
Yep.
We have varying degrees of iron, 45, 18, and iron free.
Yep.
Is that what you're talking about?
I've just always taken that 45 milligram marker, and my blood work's always been perfect for me. Never had anything come under. In fact, I had them tell me my iron was too high, but there was at one point, but it wasn't like there was no issue with it. So, but yeah, that's what I took for a long time. And now I do the chewables, but I kind of flip back and forth. Depends on the day.
Little variety, little
Yeah.
variety.
And check out those
Okay.
prices, people.
Check out what, Meg?
The prices.
Prices when you save,
Mhm.
so go get your vitamins, people.
Mhm. Yeah, because I think I did, I don't want to say the name, but one of the competitors, and they were so expensive, and I just had a hard time digesting them. And I switched to ProCare, and I literally never turned back. And it was always affordable for me. So great point, Meg. Good price.
Oh yeah, and they
good
take
quality.
Afterpay.
Yeah.
They take Afterpay right now. So if you want to get that deeper discount for like subscribing and you want like a 90-day or longer supply, Afterpay is a good way if you're financially strapped to actually be able to get your vitamins. And so that's a great option that is now available.
Brenda, do we still have the 365-day ones, or did those get sold out where you could have them for a year?
That is a great question. We were offering for a while to some of our facilities the 100-day on I think it was the 45. So let me just kind of look and see if we have that. Yep,
Oh, yeah,
it looks
see?
like it's still there, 365. So it's $110. So basically you save almost 20% off by you could even do a subscribe and save once a year. So like that is a whole bottle for a whole year, 365 tablets. I
I
actually can
love
bring that
like
up.
blocking stuff like that, where it's like if I can just get one and done and I just don't even have to think about it. Like I think that's so cool that you guys offer that, where it's like, okay, I'm good for the year. I'll put it in my stocking and then I'll be good for the year.
No excuses. It's like right there. It's right there. I love it.
That's what
Yeah.
I do with my dog food. I just have it on auto ship and I don't have to worry about it anymore.
You guys would laugh at me. So I have like my travel Citrus Grove multivitamins. I probably have one in my car, and then I have one at like my bedside table. So it reminds myself, hey, take your vitamin.
Yeah, that's kind of like a system, like having a way to always have it there with you to remember. I mean, that's one of my
Mhm.
hardest things is when I set my alarms now. But and we also this banner here tells our newest products, but if you go under new arrivals, that'll show you all of our new arrivals. I wish we had a little bit more time to kind of go into even more of those, but just want to say, guys, if you want to listen to the replay, all of these ladies who spent their time and energy to kind of help answer questions, you can always click on our tab, Body and Soul Resources, go into the tab that says BariConnected. I actually have it pulled up here. And we have each month all of the events that are happening. This event will be on replay for a month, but we also have all of our events on our YouTube channel, and that is listed under ProCare Health, vitamins and supplements. And that is has all of our replays. So like right now we have 505 videos on there. This will be on display next Tuesday. We always put all of our events on there. Plus we put them on podcast, the major podcast stations. So whether you listen to Apple, iHeart, Spotify, wherever, you can always find these episodes on there as well. So navigate, listen. We always have great little things on there to um, just help you on your journey. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to copy all of you guys' social, your social media things to click real quick onto, put those onto our Facebook page. And closing thoughts.
Don't forget about JBY, even though I'm not going. But looks like it's going to be a fun time, y'all.
You'll be there in
Yeah,
spirit.
If you want to hear more
absolutely.
about it, we're having the girls on tonight on the waiting table. So Steph, well, Steph, you'll probably be on too watching, but we're going to have Mel and Kel on talking about a community and this fun event that's coming up. So yeah, make sure you join. That'll be fun.
And ProCare is one of the main sponsors.
Yes, 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 you guys. We're gonna have a lot of our team there. How about anybody else? Anybody else want to, who else is going out of this group? Let us know here. Like if you're, any of you ladies, I think most of you, except for Maria, is that correct to say?
I think so, yeah.
I'll
I
be-
don't know. It might just pop in on you guys. You never know.
So, I think I paused there. I pasted onto Facebook, but I'm going to go back in and pretty it up a little bit because I did a quick copy and paste before we end the call. Thank you guys for all of those who were able to stay with us because I know we kind of went over a little bit. I appreciate each. JBY is Just Be You Awards Bariatric Show, and you can go to their website, Just Be You Bariatric Awards. It's put on by Mel and Kelly from our Sleeve Live podcast, and it's coming up this coming up month. April 10th, I think 10th and 11th, in St. Louis, Missouri, and at the Hawthorne Theater. And so, yes, go check out either Mel, our Sleeve Live podcast, or you can check out their website, which is Just Be You Awards Bariatric Show. So, thanks, ladies. Bye, everybody. Everybody
Thank
have a
you.
wonderful evening.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.